Welcome back to Tucson, Arizona, WPH Race for 8. Dave Vincent alongside yellow jersey wearer Sean Lenning for this men's round of 16.
I like the color. I'm not bragging when I wear this.
Don't you love it? It feels good.
It does.
Sean Lenning, who is in the round of 8 again here in Tucson after your defeat of John Iglesias earlier. We have Marco Chavez going up against Abraham Montijo, and the crowd likes to kind of form for these Montijo matches, but they also kind of secretly love Marco Chavez. Why is it that everywhere Marco seems to go, he doesn't travel out of town a lot, but when he does, he seems to be liked by the group out there? You won a national championship with him in three-wall.
A few, yeah.
What is it about him?
He's an amazing player, first of all, and he's like cool around the tournament. He watches all the levels of players, and he just goes around, socializes. He doesn't go hide, and he's the man. Yeah,
no, he's likable because
dude.
He's always accessible. In fact, if you ask him for help, he might be in the middle of a match. He'll help you remove or break down a tent or carry shirts to a car. He's always there for you. Marco Chavez, and he's wearing the WPH staff Race for 8 shirt because he thought that he could wear another one of the shirts, and he was disapproved.
And he's real competitive, which is what I like. He's nice, but on the court, he's like
he's brutal on the court. He's one of these passive-aggressive guys, right? I mean,
oh yeah,
isn't he the example of that?
Hey,
passive.
He's a great partner because of it.
I love playing doubles with him. He's passive-aggressive, even on the court, where he'll kind of.
Well,
he's one of those.
Only on the court, really.
Yeah,
I mean, he's pretty.
That's
nice.
true. And I've never seen him aggressive off, but.
No.
But on the court, he'll be kind of a aw shucks type guy, where everything's all kind of minimizing everything you do. But then when he wants to pour it on, he can give you everything he's got.
Yeah.
And he's almost 41 years old now.
Yeah. Growing up, he was always my favorite player. And now, Abraham Montijo, one of my other favorite players.
Yeah, so
that's just.
You're conflicted.
It's tough. I am very conflicted. I'll have to go with Abe though. Well, that's the worst call I've ever seen in my life.
That was rough. I mean, if you're going to call that, you might as well just call an avoidable because he put that next shot away.
Common thing is people want to call that so fast. I mean, you just hang in the pocket. A late call that is correct is better than a quick, silly call. He had him out of position, so that's a gimme. You can't call a hinder there.
Side out.
Chavez fights that ball off, gets a side out, tied at 1. Best 2 out of 3 to 15. Breaker also to 15. Win by 2. 2 timeouts and 1 30-second timeout. And our referee is Adam Bernhardt.
Point.
Marco Chavez representing Owen Gloves.
2 serves 1. Short.
Abraham Montijo representing
Second
the
serve.
Fred Lewis Foundation.
Point.
Montijo said to me, Sean, you
3
know,
serves
I've qualified like 8 times now, and
Short.
I've never received a shirt with my name on it.
Second serve.
So the next tournament came around. Guess who got 4 brand new shirts?
Uh-oh.
But I forgot to put the J on the middle of his name. So.
You didn't do that.
It's called respect.
4 serves 1.
Wow. Hercules just walked in here, Dave Fink. Wow, he's been pumping.
Yeah, Dave Fink looks
Side
big.
out.
4-1 is the score with Chavez ahead of
1 serves
Montijo.
4.
Side out, Montijo steps in at 1-4.
Short. Second serve.
It's funny about the referees. They'll call a late short call, but they'll call an early non-screen or non-hinder call. That's a terrible overhit from Marcos, and Abe tees off. Gets another point.
There's been a lot of
2
nervous,
serves 4.
excited rallies so
2
far.
serves 4.
They haven't settled in obviously.
Sean, do you think that this
Short.
15-15-15
Second
format
serve.
makes it a little tougher for those that might want to play nervous for the first 7 or 8 points like they normally do in that 21-point format?
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Another way is hopefully everybody will adjust, and then
Three
eventually it'll
serves
just
4.
make for more intense games. I kind of enjoy the 15-point thing.
Yeah, I thought that seemed like it would kind of play into your style just a little bit.
Does it?
I think it does. I mean,
Hinder.
I know previously.
It plays into like out of shape Sean's.
Well, that's true, and you're not that guy
3
anymore.
serves
But it
4.
seems like you could run off 6 or 7 to 8 points as quick as anybody I've ever seen, and that only puts you about another good run from winning the match or winning the game. So I was looking at it from that angle, not from the fat. I mean, not fat, but the overweight and staying up all night,
Yeah.
carousing.
Yeah. I'm
There
not
are
that
bad
way
bounces
currently.
in the
Oh, okay.
I'll probably revert back to that pretty soon.
If I keep talking about it like that. Didn't go all
And if
Karen
you have a
Carpenter
bad
on me here.
bounce And you want to call a bad bounce, don't take the shot.
I know that reference. Can you
If you
believe
can help
that?
me. 4 serves 3.
Poor thing, Karen Carpenter.
That was a terrible
Side out.
shot right there from Marco Chavez, current U.S.
3
Open
serves
doubles
4.
champion. We were talking about Marcos and how good he was, and you've won a national championship with him. Why is he so good at doubles? Sean, it seems like, you know, he doesn't get the credit he deserves, but he's won a lot of great
4
doubles
serves
titles.
3.
Well, I think he's the best doubles player
Short.
ever. Really, I'm not just saying that because we've won. He knows exactly what to
Second
do
serve.
as a right side or left side player. He's encouraging. He just knows where to
Point.
be. He's amazing doubles player. Just he's so
5 serves
I think
3.
he's won at least 5 of 8 or 6 of 8 U.S. Open titles with 2 different partners.
good. Yeah.
I think
Side out.
Nadia Alvarado, I thought during the speech there when he won just a couple weekends ago
3 serves
the U.S.
5.
Open Pro doubles title, Nadia said that he won 5 of 8 seasons, and Marcos corrected him and said, sorry, that was 6. But
Hinder.
he's 40 years old and he's still winning these titles. That's
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he doesn't play the
3
traditional
serves 5.
left-right side. He's more into that fun ball I formation thing that the LAACers do.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to, you know, when we play, we're both kind of team
Point.
captains. He's not afraid to make adjustments
4 serves 5.
as he sees fit.
4
He might throw
serves
you on
5.
the right side, like I might throw him on
Yeah,
the
and
right side and
Point.
vice versa.
it seems to be that he encourages that. It's sort of like,
Oh, yeah.
hey, yeah, we're just having fun in here. We're scoring points. You know, if you want to try something new, let's do it.
5
You know, he's
serves
very,
5.
very open because I think he knows that it's all about making
Short.
the right shots. But with that said, he finds himself at 40 some odd years of age,
Second
not
serve.
going into the 40s, originally just entering as an invite here in the Elite 8.
Point.
And he's 10 points away from winning the first game, but you see a nice little surge here from the youngster, Abraham
have one.
Montijo.
Linesman. 6 serves 5.
That's a
Point.
6 serve. Little minor, little
7 serves 5.
reverse.
Short. Second serve. Point. 8 serves 5.
I see Montijo scoring pretty much at will here against
Point.
Chavez, and Chavez is starting to get frustrated.
timeout,
Now you're
Marcus?
going to might see that aggressive
Scores 9-5.
Chavez that we're talking about in that passive aggressive thing, because he's not in a good mood now. That's definitely going to make him come back in and play a little bit harder. You're watching the round of 16. Yours truly, Dave Vincent, alongside Sean Linning, who's now back into the quarterfinals after the win against John Iglesias earlier, 15-6, 15-5. John Iglesias was a qualifier here. Sean was the 5 seed in the blind draw. Paul Brady defeats Eric Torres out of the Olympic Club in San Francisco 15-7, 15-5. Earlier it was Dave Fink getting past Adam Bernhardt, our current referee, 15-12, 15-7. And Luis Moreno got past Luis Cordova 15-8, 15-1. Other matches going on. Now we have Vic Perez and Mondo Ortiz representing the LAAC playing each other in a backcourt.
Short. Second serve.
Kind of a screen, no call.
I was just letting the play go. Sorry. I know, but I let it.
Abe has a good argument here because the referee, I heard him say to Abe
I know, but I let it go.
and to Marcos before the match started, if you are screened, raise your hand. And that's exactly what Abraham did right here. He can't see the ball, so he just lifts his hand up and says, okay, I'm screened. Wait, nope, you're not going to give it to me? I'm back into it.
You got to call that.
You're right, but I'm not going. 5 serves 9.
The referee says, you're right, but I'm not going there.
Hard to get mad at that accent. You know, I'd probably still be arguing right now.
Well, he's a lawyer up there.
Yeah.
So now you see Abraham loses the serve. Marcos comes in and gets a point. And Abe says, you know, I'm not going to let this get to me. And now Marcos does what he does best, and that is...
That was just the worst call ever. I hope Marcos doesn't go on a big run because of it.
Well, it looks like he's going to. That was short.
I don't like injustice like that. That was ridiculous.
Well, Bernhardt went all Roger Goodell on Abraham and said, you know, you're right, but you're not going to get it.
Which is silly. Oh, jeez.
Well,
that's not reassuring. Like,
and look at this.
Now,
now
Abe.
Marcos has a few cracks, getting some really crazy things happening here, and it's a nice, really a three-point kind of change in a way.
Side out.
Marcos goes over the top and dips that ball in, and there's a side out, and I don't think Abraham's too happy here.
Point.
Got away with one. Time to capitalize if you're Abe.
10 serves 7.
Good serve.
2 in a row for Marco Chavez into the ground.
Bad bounce. 10 serves 7. Short. Second serve.
Sean, was there a slight rumor that you were sick coming up into this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, but it doesn't really affect me. I've just got a little runny nose at this point.
Okay,
Kinda
I thought
got over it.
Maybe it was from our dinner date that we had a few nights ago. Maybe you got something there, picked up something.
7 serves 10.
It was nice meeting with you over at Casa de Finks with Paul Brady a few nights ago.
That was fun.
It was a pre-dinner victory party. Too bad Paul had to show up.
I know.
That's a huge setup. That's one of those that you think it's going to, hit the wall about the same time the ball gets there, and you kind of are tentative. Marco certainly could have gotten that one back. Leads to a hand air, 10-7.
Short. What'd you see? He disagrees with me. Take 2.
It's not a good sign when the referee says he disagrees with me. That means there's only one line judge up there. Referee probably saying to himself, yeah, I don't think I really did get to see it very well. I'll take this guy's word for it.
7 serves 10.
I like Marcos's shot there. He doesn't really go for the ceiling ball as much as he goes for that kind of big ball-ish overhand loft down the wall. He's pretty good at that. Well, he's really good at that.
Hinder.
It's funny how the ref, now I agree that that's a hinder, but it's strange how the referee will call that a hinder and not the other one, because that one you actually have your opponent kind of pinned in a way. You know exactly where they're at.
Yeah, that was nearly a setup.
Pretty close.
Pretty close. So wicked natural, keeping it away from Abe there.
8 serves 10.
What would you call that shot? It's not a 2-all pass. It's sort of a...
I think it Well, that's the V pass, right? And
Hinder.
That's tough.
Okay, thanks.
Then
Okay,
Abe calls the
thanks.
point. Pretty nice guy, that Abe Montijo.
Pretty
good.
Yeah, I like the referee said, okay, thanks.
I'd probably take that
9
as a
serves
makeup
10.
call if I was Abe. I'd probably say, yeah, that was a hinder.
Yeah, that's fine, but every single time one of these bad calls happens, Marcos is the one who goes on the
10
tear.
serves 10.
Yeah.
We're all together at 10 here. Boy, I don't know how Marcos got that back. Abe's going to tee off here, down the right wall.
Oh, Abe.
Huge setup here.
Got away with one there. That Abe had a few opportunities there. I'm
10.
sure he's relieved to get out of that rally.
10 serves 10. Short. Second serve.
What was that shot we were talking about earlier?
Nice shot. Abraham, left-hand kill, point 11-10.
Beautiful left he's developed. That was cool. It's good to see him hit that shot.
11 serves 10.
Well, you saw him plant his feet and looked like he put himself right into the perfect position.
Yeah, that's what he coaches the kids to do, and he did it himself there. That was beautiful. That wasn't very good footwork there, though. He was on his back foot, flailing.
Marco Chavez goes over the top with his left, hits it down the right, gets back
10
into the server's
serves,
box.
11.
10-11. Game number 1, best 2 out of 3 to 15. You have to win by 2, and this one might go overtime, and that's
Point.
one of those crazy shots back there. And it's kind of hard to see at this club, too. You have some strange lights, sun coming
11
in.
serves 11.
It's dark, it's light, it's way too light. It's just odd to see back there in that corner.
Abe had some indecision there. You need to approach that ball. You
12
need to,
serves 11.
you know, you can't just wait for it to do its thing.
There has to be a timeout here, Sean. I mean, you can tell there's a total momentum
Oh,
change.
you
Timeout.
got to call a timeout.
Timeout, Abe.
I mean,
Scores
just
13-11.
because Marco's hitting that real soft serve doesn't mean you can take a break like that.
We're going to take a break like that right here. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. Stick around. More action here right around the corner.
Win by 2.
The Tucson Racquet Club is your home away from home. Join us for world-class tennis, handball, racquetball, and the new rage, pickleball. Or try one of our 160 weekly group exercise classes. Want to swim laps or play with your family in the pool? Enjoy our 2 junior Olympic-sized pools and wading pool that are open year-round. Then round out the perfect day with a delicious meal at our restaurant or sports bar. All at the Tucson Racquet and Fitness Club, where Country Club Road ends and fitness begins.
Back in Tucson, Arizona here as we conclude this timeout. Marco Chavez on a nice little run against Abraham Montijo, and they're back in the box.
No.
And Abe knows that he flubbed that ball, went over the top of it, and I think he mishit it.
11 serves 13.
You know, when it comes to these big money matches and there's points on line, that was short. You'll take those little flubs.
Second serve.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes there's players that you play where you say, I need to get some luck. I need them to make a few mistakes. I need to play really good. All that has to happen in order to win.
11 serves
Sean, you
13.
don't look at life like that, but when you're old and desperate, you actually pray for luck. That ball looked like it skidded.
That was a good get, is what it was, I think.
How does Abraham get these balls back? And he'll do it again, too. And he flips that ball with power.
Oh, Marcos got a little too lazy there.
Boy, Marcos fights that ball off. Abe flying to the back wall again.
Again.
Thank you.
Again, Marcos was kind of
in limbo there.
Yeah,
indecisive.
I mean, you do need to
12 serves 13.
put just as much energy into your setups as the rest of the shots in the rally. Sometimes people take a break thinking, oh, I'm just going to kill this, and then get kind of lax. I know I do. And so, I mean, he needed to bear down and just finish it, just like Abe did right there.
That was beautiful. Abraham tying the score at 13. We're going to 15.
Such a common thing, though. People get big, fat setups, and then they just kind of take a break thinking, oh, I'm going to kill this for sure. And then they end up skipping it because their mind goes, timeout.
Yeah, you saw, I thought, you know, that rally was kind of long, and Marcos knew he had Abraham on the ropes going back and forth, side to side. Marcos tried to go for an inside out to the right corner, and I think what Marcos was ultimately trying to do was inside out that ball to the right side, as he knew Abe would overcover to the middle. I don't think we're going to see that actual replay, but I think that's what led to that setup where Abraham
well, Marcos had two opportunities that were exactly the same in that rally. That, you know, cut off, kill right corner when Abe was behind him. And he just missed that opportunity. The
second one I thought he hit all right, but again, I think he needed to move his feet a little bit more.
Yeah, he hit it kind of like as if it was a defensive shot.
Right.
Where, I mean, that was the opportunity for the rally to end.
Well, he had the bigger opportunity on the first one.
Yeah.
Where he would be serving right now and probably trying to take the first game, but now he finds himself tied. And this is at 13-13 going to 15. It feels a lot like 10-10 in a breaker.
Yeah.
I mean, it just has this really, you know that there's one more point away if the guy scores. So.
Is this win by 1?
Yeah, well, win by 2.
It is? Cool.
But just kind of has that feeling when you're in the court at 13-13.
Second serve.
I like win by 2. I didn't know that.
You know, it's another thing about Marcos is Abraham does another nice get. Marcos is so creative.
And Marcos was surprised to see that one come
with
back.
That. Look at that 3-wall shot right there and a fist pump from Marcos Chavez. Where does he pull that ball out?
That was pretty cool.
And Abraham going up there and getting into Marcos Chavez's face.
As he should. That was.
Well, it's right in the middle of talking about how creative he is. You know, he'll pull that stuff out.
Yeah, that was messed up.
And it almost seems like, why would he do that there?
Second serve.
You have to trust in Marcos a lot of times. He usually knows what's up.
For those that ever had to play against Marcos when he was in his 20s and in shape, we're talking about one of the best in the game.
Hinder.
Oh.
You almost saw that
Abe
aggressive.
probably would have benefited from getting out of the way there instead of hitting it like it was one wall, because that would have been tough for Marcos regardless.
13 serves 13.
I don't know why he stood there as if.
Both of these guys are winded, but you don't see Marcos calling a timeout here. Oh, nice little shot right there from Marcos Chavez, pushes it to the back left, and now he's serving to take game number 1.
Abe forced him to hit 2 good shots in a row there, and Marcos did oblige.
Abe calls his last timeout. 30 seconds.
It's amazing that Marcos hit such a great shot there down the right, and Abe gets it, and he still had to hit a perfect shot down the left. You know, it was like perfectly down the wall. Otherwise, Abe would have got that as well.
There's the perfect speed, the perfect height.
It's just high-level handball. I mean, it's just like these guys are good right now.
Marcos is acting like he doesn't know the rules. He's upset that Abraham gets that 30-second timeout at the end.
Yeah. You get 3 timeouts, and one of them's 30 seconds. And this is his third, and it's 30 seconds.
It's funny that Marcos acts like he doesn't know this, but
time's in.
That's the great thing about Marcos. He tries to minimize everything. Now, this is all part of what he does, Sean, because now he's going in there serving at 14, and he's acting like he's Abraham's best friend. But just a couple shots ago, he was going to yell at the ref on that hinder call that he thought he wasn't going to get. Now he's back to everyone's best friend, and this is how he kind of gets into everyone's head, including the ref.
Side out.
And apparently the
13 serves 14.
the handball gods too, because he jinxed me.
Hey, you must have put some English on that, Marcos. Probably a reverse, huh?
He definitely cut that ball, kind of maybe a big ball shot.
Serves 13.
I think that ball checked up on the front wall and the ground differently.
Side out.
That was it.
That was a minor reverse by Abe that threw him off just enough. It's hard to pick up,
14.
you know, on the webcast, but just small little wrinkles are enough to affect people dramatically a lot of times. That was cool, 14-14. We like that. Nice.
As a reminder, it's win by 2.
We're such big fans of
14
both these
serves
players. It's
14.
nice to have a 14-14.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you don't want either of them to lose, so just go extra innings. And there's the first point. Now Abraham serving to take game number 1.
That was a quadruple fist pump, and you don't see that much from Irish players or
15
Americans for that
serves
matter.
14.
And he wasn't trying to sell anything except for himself. No short ball called there. This is a setup for Marcos. Goes wide corner with the left. Miss hit from Abraham. Now Marcos back in at 14-15. And now
I thought it was good.
I thought it was short, and I think this could get overturned.
You thought it was good? Yeah, he thought it was good.
It isn't, though.
14 serves 15.
Looks like a power serve possibly here.
Abraham banked himself behind Marcos there, Sean. Now we're tied at 15.
Yeah, that's kind of the
15
benefit of
serves,
taking that
15.
shot with your left there. It kind of blocks your opponent off.
Short.
Give
When your
credit,
opponent's
though.
on the right, yeah.
Give credit to the referee for not stopping play there.
Yeah.
15 serves 15.
Huge setup, Marcos. Look at that ball hop away. Now Marcos serving to take game number 1.
Possible game point serves 15.
Boy, I thought Marcos had that shot right there. Misses his slide. And now he's going to go for bottom board and gets it. Takes game number 1, 17-15. Marcos takes down Abraham Montijo. And we will have game number 2 coming up right around the corner for Sean Lenning. Dave Vincent here. Marco Chavez takes down Abraham Montijo, and we'll be back in 3 minutes. 17-15 score. Stay here at racefor8.com.
The Tucson Racquet Club is your home away from home. Join us for world-class tennis, handball, racquetball, and the new rage, pickleball. Or try one of our 160 weekly group exercise classes. Want to swim laps or play with your family in the pool? Enjoy our 2 junior Olympic-sized pools and wading pool that are open year-round. Then round out the perfect day with a delicious meal at our restaurant or sports bar. All at the Tucson Racquet and Fitness Club, where Country Club Road ends and fitness begins.
At shelters, you'll discover healthy and loving animals just waiting to become a part of your family. Why wait? You can make a difference in the life of an animal. A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person and adopt your new best friend today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Rethink what you know about this Vegas icon. Elevate your expectations at the Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower. See what's new, up, down, and all around.
Are you getting this, honey? Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't. Oh.
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay, here it goes.
Oh, Mom!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you. Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's one every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
Here we go. We're gonna make some juice.
It's gonna be good.
She's excited. A little bit of kale.
Please don't put this on line.
I'm putting it all over the line.
It's wet. It needs something. No, it'll go.
Don't break my juicer. Looks good.
You ready to try it?
Come on, baby.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
It's okay.
Okay, all right.
They might surprise you.
Hey, she took another sip. You saw it?
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
The Tucson Racquet Club is your home away from home. Join us for world-class tennis, handball, racquetball, and the new rage, pickleball. Or try one of our 160 weekly group exercise classes. Want to swim laps or play with your family in the pool? Enjoy our 2 junior Olympic-sized pools and wading pool that are open year-round. Then round out the perfect day with a delicious meal at our restaurant or sports bar. All at the Tucson Racquet and Fitness Club, where Country Club Road ends and fitness begins.
Back in Tucson, Arizona for game number 2, we watched a really cool first one where Marco Chavez fought back and defeated Abraham Montijo in extra innings 17-15. My name is Dave Vincent alongside Sean Lenning. You're wondering, wait a second, 15 and 17? This doesn't sound right, but there's the best 2 out of 3 to 15, tiebreaker also to 15, and then you have to win by 2. Now you did see Marcos, Sean, kind of question the referee. How in the world is this guy taking 3 timeouts? I think is what the referee had to try to explain to Marcos.
Well, he knows now. Yeah, they both had match point, which is kind of cool. Doesn't always end up that way and win by 2, does it?
And no, it doesn't. And also, they had match point on different scores. The same player had match point with a different score. Marcos served at 14 to win, 14 to 13, and then eventually won 17 to 15.
Oh, yeah.
Match point at 2 different scores for the server. That doesn't happen often in sports.
0 serves 0. Side out.
That's a crazy miss hit right there. And you said earlier, Sean, and I actually think it's kind of true.
0 serves 0.
These guys have such a huge following, both of them do, that it's like, it's hard to root against either one of them, you know? I guess the only way it could end is in overtime.
Well, this game, it's easier to root for Abe because I want to see a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
I'm going Abe all the way here. I was on the fence last game, but I hate Marcos right now.
How many doubles national championships have you won with him?
I'm not sure. It feels like
5, I think, in 3-wall.
I don't know.
Point.
However many times he went out there with me, I have no idea. It could be 2, it could be 5.
2 serves 0.
Must be nice to have that many national championships where you can't count them anymore.
Well, I mean, you'd think it's just amazing, but you forget.
Point.
You know, that's dangerous when you see, if we can take a look at the replay here of that third point
3
from
serves 0.
Marco Chavez, and you can see a little something he does there. as we get this ball back into play. And Marcos has this really cool swagger. There has to be a timeout called at least to break up the momentum.
Or at least some jumping jacks
4
like
serves, 0.
almost did there.
But Marcos has this little get up right in a step right before he hits the ball off the back wall. You can see a little kind of Alan Garner kind of crow hop, I guess they used to call it.
Yeah, he does kind of do that. At the U.S. Open a week or two ago, his back wall was on point, man. It was so lights out.
Well, when he's really comfortable, you see him taking that little hop. Look at that shot. Overhand, he calls it the chisel.
Nice rally. Side out.
Good enough.
Marcos knew where Abe was going to hit it, and Abe hit it right there anyway.
0 serves, 4.
Wow, nice shot, Abraham.
Nice shot. If I was Abe, I'd be serving low to Marcos's left. He doesn't have as, I don't know, his left isn't as educated on the return to serve as a lot of players. A lot of players you try and avoid, you know, serving their opposite hand because they're so used to returning the ball from there. But I think Marcos is an exception. I would just pick on his left. It's good in the rally, but his return to serve is kind of suspect.
Side out.
Abraham tried to play Marcos's game there. That's another thing that Marcos can
4
do is
serves, 1.
he can go methodical with you if you want to. He can ground and pound and be one of the top players when he's in shape.
Yeah.
Down low, but up top, he's not afraid to do that. I'm not saying he's the best at it, but he's not afraid to do it either. And you can see Abraham's taken out of his game here. Marcos really setting him up with these lobs. And
yeah, it all starts with that serve. I mean, you saw Marcos get 3 easy points against Abe in the first game because Abe is relaxing just because the serve's coming slow. I mean, you can still approach that ball and take it a million different places at different points. He's just letting it play him completely.
Serves 5.
Got to put it in his mind that you might get up there, take on the short hop or something.
Second serve. Point.
He earned that miss. I mean, he had a pretty good stroke on it. He didn't hit it flush, but
2.
Good things
serves
happen
5.
when you stroke it.
at first I thought Abe overhit that ball.
That was perfect.
It's a great 2-hole pass,
3,
inside
5.
out.
I don't like that serve.
Side out.
You don't like the serve over to Marcos's right?
5 serves 3.
No, I don't.
Sean, as a top player, I know you don't sit at home and watch videos of handball.
No.
I mean, you have other things that you do.
I did when I was little.
I think that's
Do you
pass.
find it, like, now that you're in the booth and you're able to kind of watch this, you can kind of see things maybe from a different
3
angle?
serves 5.
Because you might not be, watching this match from up top from the referee or down in this left corner, and you get to see it from just a different angle. Would it help you, as a kid growing up, advance to the game by studying video? Learning things, tendencies or?
Yeah, like I had one video I watched as a kid. It was a VHS of
4 serves 5.
Naughty playing John Kendler or something like that. And but other than that, I just used to watch all kinds of levels of handballers at the club I played at. That was a nice little avoidable by Marcos, just kind of chilling right in front of Abe's line of sight there.
5 serves
Got away
4.
with it. But yeah, I think watching is so important. And I tell all these kids when they're just playing on their phones here that you might want to watch some of these guys. It'll make you better, ones that are interested in improving.
I like how Abe set up for that ball.
That's the third nice left back ball we've seen from Abe.
The way he set up for it, though, it looks like he's really confident with it. And I think, you know, when you hit 3 in a row, you just build a ton of confidence. There's that return of serve that you're talking about with Marcos's left. Abe has the opportunity, hits it in the ground. Marcos back into the box.
Yeah, Abe he stepped too early there. He got kind of off balance, getting too excited too early.
That's what Marcos is really good at. He creates errors. You know, he hit that overhand, knew that it was going to meet about the same time Abe would meet the side wall, and the ball looked like it was short.
It looked short to me, too.
It was about, I thought, 2 inches short.
Disagrees. 2 serves.
2 serves.
It should be second serve.
What are you talking about, dude?
Side out.
And Marcos flubs another right corner fly kill opportunity, which seems odd because that's his go-to shot.
Point. Five serves 6.
I hate that serve. God, why are you doing that?
6 serves 5.
But Marcos is not capitalizing on a lot of these side outs. Abraham's the only one that'll score a point every now and then. I mean, really haven't seen Marcos score with all these side out opportunities.
Yeah, but
side out.
So regardless of those bad serves Abe's giving Marcos, Abe is still pecking back into this. He was down 5-1, 5-0.
Short.
He's now, it's 6-5.
I just want to know when he fell in love with his right side serve. Has this been a thing forever? It seems like he has a decent left side serve as well. He hasn't had amazing success against Marcos with it, so I'm just wondering why 80% of the serves are going there.
Here's what I'm thinking. Marcos, as you saw during that timeout, was being looked at by Dr. Westerman, who was looking at Marcos's right hand. It's not a bone bruise. I think Marcos dove for a ball and did something, and the doctor was looking at that hand. I think Abraham, this is tight quarters here at the TRC. I think Abe saw that, and he's trying to pick on that broken, twisted, you know, hand of Marcos. And I say broken when knowing that it really is not broken, but broken in the sense that he feels it is, and I think he's trying to jump all over it.
Okay.
You know, you saw a couple weeks ago when Luis Moreno did not capitalize on Paul Brady's injury at the U.S. Open. It seemed like Luis wanted to go away from that left elbow of Paul's. Meanwhile, I think Abe heard all of that stuff here and said, hey, I know this guy has a problem with his right hand. I'm going to hit every ball I can to it. It hasn't helped, though.
No. And that's what Abe's just realizing right now. Look at that.
Well, I think he
that's
can
a
hear
real.
us.
That's yeah. Look at that face. It was the eureka moment there. He's going to get in there and just pound the left.
I mean, the more and more he hangs out with Fred Lewis, he's starting to look like him a little bit. You know how the dog and the owner? I don't know if I said that right. You're watching the race for 8. This is the round of 16 between Marcos Chavez, 41-year-old Marcos, and young Abraham Montijo.
I'm going to guess 26.
I thought so, but just out of college, yeah, probably about 25, 26.
Just a pup. Whoa. We have sources saying 24.
Okay. That sounds right. That sounds right, probably.
Okay.
It was a quick study.
Resuming play.
I finished my college when I was 41.
Abe serving 5 serves 6.
Master's degree. Why do you ask?
Short.
It was a master's in BS.
Oh.
Bachelor's of Science.
So this is also interesting. Every deep 2-wall second serve Abe's done, he's had favorable returns. Wow, that's a right side serve. Maybe I spoke too soon on that. Maybe you can get that going. I like that better though. See what he gets back. That's a setup.
Point.
Nice. Sometimes if that 2-wall second serve is going,
serves 6.
Me personally, I might throw it there for the first serve until they prove they
8
can return it.
serves 6.
So I was kind of thinking of that for Abe.
Short.
That ball was short. Thought Abe would appeal the way he acted.
Did you peel that?
Yeah, okay, I will.
Short. Second serve.
It definitely was short.
We'll see if he gets it deep enough.
Game number 1, in case you just joined us, Marco Chavez took it. Kind of a thrilling game 1, overtime, 17-15 win.
Side out.
Boy, those guys playing really close to each other, using each other's position to.
Like, that's not a hinder because Abe probably could have got it if, you know, Marcos wasn't there, but the fact that he was there and Abe was in terrible position, you know, because it is his own fault he was behind Marcos like that. So in that case, it's not a hinder. It did come up a bit, though.
Terrible overhit from Marcos, and Abe puts it away. Now getting back into the box, Abe up 9-6. Hello.
8 serves 6.
We knew you would come to the booth eventually.
I was looking awfully yellow.
Yeah. You were so yellow. Coldplay called and wanted to have a conversation about you stealing there.
Side out.
That was a Emmett-esque left hand down the right with some reverse to keep it
6 serves
running
8.
down the wall. That was a nice shot by Marcos.
Boy, big setup
Side
again
out.
for Abraham, and he puts it away.
And squealed. That was kind of cool. Okay.
8 serves 6. Short.
Still trying that serve. Not seeing enough success
Second
with it
serve.
to love it.
Side out.
Oh, and Abraham has another giant setup, and he puts it in the ground. There's a side out now. Marcos back in, and these are the ones where it starts to get really serious here when you go to 15.
Point.
You think that Marcos might have found something back there with that serve?
I don't know. I
7
suspect
serves 8.
Abe kind of pushed that serve back because it's coming so soft, and he's just trying to shovel it back, stiff arm like that. I mean, take a swing at it. You get that soft little wimpy serve, take a swing at it if you have an opportunity.
Boy, that's a missed shot there from Marcos.
Ooh.
Side out.
He was between ideas there. He chose the wrong one, did Marcos.
Well, it was a good idea.
Was it though?
8 serves 7. Point.
Swung at that one. A lot of times you just aim towards the,
9
you know,
serves
where the
7.
walls meet, the crotch there in the top right, and good
Short.
things will happen. You don't need to, you know, think about whether you can hit the front wall first or the side wall first. Just
Second
aim
serve.
in that general area and hope for the best. Don't want to overthink those things.
Point.
Apparently that's what he did there too. He's like, aim for that crack. That worked out well.
It's kind of like the old phrase, swing as
10
hard as you
serves
can in case you hit it.
7.
Oh,
But
that's a good one.
But what you're saying is, if I don't know where it's going, how would they know where it's going? So it seems like the stats would be better to just aim for a corner. I don't know where it's going to go. How would you even know it was going to go? We both don't know. That gives me
11 plays 7.
kind of the favor, I think.
Short.
That ball was short.
Second serve.
Wow.
Side out.
We've seen Marcos do that his whole life. It's the first time really we've seen him take it around the revolving
7
door that
serves,
low.
11.
We saw him miss a couple times in the first game in a row. But if he starts making that shot, it's dangerous.
Point.
Yeah.
And 2 quickies here for Chavez.
8 serves 11.
Abraham holds onto that ball just a little longer.
Short. Second serve.
The Dominator serve.
Somehow Abraham's able to fight that ball off. Marcos back to the roof again. I think Marcos can get a lot of points if he stays up there. You'll see that Abraham might be susceptible with that left hand off the back wall deep. And Marcos was playing that way to start this second game. He kind of went away from it.
Yeah.
See, now you see Marcos, he saw something.
Skip.
Don't see him miss that much.
That's one that you circle on the scoreboard there.
11 serves 9.
Marcos got the shot he wanted and then missed it.
A lot of times the shots that, well, the shot in particular that Marcos wants and tries to get from the kind of serves he does is an overhit ceiling ball, because his back wall is so good and his timing's so good, even on overhit ceiling balls, that he ends a lot of rallies that way.
12 serves 9.
Yeah, I agree.
Short.
I mean, he'll hit that soft serve down the right, and then people try and punch it to the ceiling because they don't know what else to do because his hands are so good up front, and then they'll hit a overhit ceiling ball, then Marcos just kill it.
Nice dig right there from Abraham.
That was almost too cute by Marcos. Probably should have killed it.
Hinder.
Oh,
that's an avoidable.
Tough.
You can't go back that direction. You have to clear the way on the right side.
12 serves 9.
He hit a terrible shot and he knew it, and he crossed his path just to get in better position for himself, even though he could have got out of the way of that. That was avoidable, so it should be an avoidable hinder call. So
there's a side out. Game number 2. Looks like maybe a timeout call here.
What's going on? Score is 9-12.
Referee had to ask Marcos what was going on there as he calls that timeout here at 9-12. And you see Abraham Montijo walking it off. This isn't one of those, it's a taxing guy to play. Marcos is not easy to play, and he's going to keep the ball into play, and you're going to feel it when you get home.
Yeah.
Or before the next round.
And sometimes Marcos's body language is such that he just seems kind of lazy a lot of times, so you start running around, you feel like an idiot because he's just chilling.
He makes it look easy too, so.
Yeah, and so, but that's a trap though. Montijo needs to, get his body language and energy up even more to counter the kind of opposite things that Marcos is doing. Be interested to see. You okay, Dave?
I'm fine.
My partner.
I was just thinking about Marcos. I would think that even Abraham would have to maybe position himself further away from Marcos during the timeouts. Because I think Marcos even plays that game out in the hallway. He's smiling and then he acts like, you're talking about that body language.
Yeah.
And you said, you don't want Abe to play that game or get sucked into that game that Marcos is kind of playing with him. And Marcos knows how to do it. He's an actor. I mean, he'll sit next to him and act like his hands hurt or whatever. He's minimizing what he is. And then he goes into the court and plays harder, knowing that he's taking you off your game. And like you said, he's running you around and he's making it look easy. And then he goes outside and he complains about his hand. He can't feel his hand. And then you go in there going, what's going on with me? I'm playing terrible. This guy just explained it to me. Ball was short, I thought, maybe.
I thought it snuck over, but it could have been. Oh, Abe wishes he hit that back. He definitely could have. Probably would have been another setup, but.
Okay, do you have one down there or do you need one? Okay.
A little towel timeout.
And there is a towel being thrown down on the court here. Game number 2. 15-15 is what we try to strive for to go into overtime, or whatever you want to call it. Best 2 out of 3 to 15. Breaker also to 15. Here, though, in game number 2, after Marco Chavez wins the first one 17 to 15, he finds himself down by 1 against Abraham Montijo 11 to 12, and we're now into minute number 52 of this match. So these 15s can go. Minute 52. Yeah, it's going by pretty quick. They can go by fairly quick here.
Play.
But they could also go past the hour mark, which I think we might see here.
11 serves 12.
Unless Marcos puts his Superman cape on.
Short.
That was a terrible serve from Marcos.
Oh, he's just tickled. That was short.
Second serve.
He got some points off this serve earlier.
I don't know how.
Well, he left that one low, but he had a full-on swing and miss against Abraham earlier, but that was one of those 1 in 100 serves.
Oh, man. His
Side out.
left back wall is just on fire. You can't miss. You're making that one. It's a good day
I said
for that.
swing as hard as you can in case you hit it, but that one was, let's swing as soft as we can.
Well, that was the ugliest thing I've ever seen. It's terrible.
That was one of the worst kill shots you'll ever see on film.
Nice. Put his butt and hips into that. And the first one.
And his lungs into that first one.
He did yelp.
I thought I was watching Sharapova here. There's another point now, game point for Abraham.
So he knows something we don't know about his right side serve. You can hit that crack more often than we thought, I think.
I didn't know Abe had that serve, and he does it again.
Oh.
And he takes game number 2 with 2 consecutive cracked serves. We're going to take a break. We'll be back 3 minutes for the tiebreaker between Abraham Montijo and Marco Chavez. Stick close, more handball action right around the corner.
The Tucson Racquet Club is your home away from home. Join us for world-class tennis, handball, racquetball, and the new rage, pickleball. Or try one of our 160 weekly group exercise classes. Want to swim laps or play with your family in the pool? Enjoy our 2 junior Olympic-sized pools and wading pool that are open year-round. Then round out the perfect day with a delicious meal at our restaurant or sports bar. All at the Tucson Racquet and Fitness Club, where Country Club Road ends and fitness begins.
At shelters, you'll discover healthy and loving animals just waiting to become a part of your family. Why wait? You can make a difference in the life of an animal. A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person and adopt your new best friend today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Rethink what you know about this Vegas icon. Elevate your expectations at the Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower. See what's new, up, down, and all around.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't. Oh.
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay, here it goes.
Oh, Mom!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you. Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Zions, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's one every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
Here we go. We're gonna make some juice.
It's gonna be good.
She's excited. A little bit of kale.
Please don't put this on
I'm putting it all over the line.
It's wet. It needs something. No, it'll go.
Don't break my juicer. Looks good.
You ready to try it?
Come on, baby.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
It's okay.
Okay, all right.
They might surprise you.
She took another sip. You saw it?
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
Back in Tucson, Arizona at the TRC. Abraham Montijo comes back to take game number 2 after losing the first one 17-15.
That's what we wanted. Wanted that tiebreaker.
Well, you said that's what you needed to have happen because
now I'm neutral again.
You don't like rooting for people. You just like to let it happen.
That's right.
Tiebreaker to 15. We're at minute number 59.
0 serves 0.
In this best 2 out of 3. Abraham gets the first serve. This is the Race for 8 Professional Handball Tour. And Marco somehow wins that rally, but he flubbed that return and got lucky because I think it fooled Abraham and it created a weak return.
He did do a cool natural there. You'd think a reverse is coming. Definitely tricked him.
And there's Marcos again. He has this sort of way of getting out of the way, totally in your way while he does it. That time.
It's like Chapman when he'd give you a big setup, all of a sudden he's completely immobile and he can't move at all.
I can't see behind my back when my back's turned, but yet I can on every play know exactly where you're going to hit the ball and eyes in the back of the head.
0.
Marco's changing tactics, going with the hard serve.
Dave Chapman, another great actor. Oh, Abraham didn't miss that. That ball broke.
Broken ball.
According to our stat tracker, we're averaging 1.17 games before a broken ball.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
That was really sweet of our local hometown favorite, Abraham Montijo. We're actually going to make that part of the promo video for his funeral. No, I'm just joking.
I wish he threw it right in the camera. That'd be kind of better.
It was a good toss. Abraham's very good at the ring toss down at the carnival also.
Short.
I didn't know that was his thing.
Now, it might be a little weird for these guys to go into a tiebreaker and go and play 15 instead of 11, Sean.
Yeah.
Side out.
What always drew me to Marcos' game is his willingness to mix it up. He's shown different second serves, a bunch of different first serves. I didn't really, develop that for myself, but I appreciate it in other people. He's very, he's like Wata. He's like Bruce Lee.
1 serves
Well,
1.
He'll mix it up and just.
I admire it too because it tells you that somebody has the courage to do creative things and also think out of the box and always think, instead of just so one-dimensional. You saw how, one player earlier was just stuck on a serve that was giving him nothing, absolutely zero.
Yeah.
Marcos, meanwhile, has already done 6 different serves during that same span, trying to locate something that's working.
2 serves
forming
1.
habits that you can't break in handball are a lot of times good, but most of the time just terrible.
3 serves
that's how
1.
people never get better.
But also, Sean, sometimes people don't know how to diagnose themselves.
Well,
you know, it's easier for you and I to watch them and say, hey, why don't you hit to the left? You know, I never thought about it. You have to, in handball, we say this a lot on the broadcast, but if you get a point, for just a brief moment, think to yourself, how did I do that? And try to do it again, because you might have found a weakness that they've been dealing with for years, and once it happens one time, it's going to happen for the rest of the tournament for them.
Yeah.
But then it seems like people avoid it. Like Marcos has received a lot of free points off of Abraham to the deep left in this but he's not going there. He's hitting more powerful shots over there, not the soft stuff.
That kind of goes back to the mentality of, you know, if you hit a serve that works, might even be your second serve. Just keep doing it until, you know, they prove that they can handle it. Oh no, did he twist his ankle? No, he just tripped. Breaking ankles at Abe Montijo. It's a good shot. Swung from his toes on that one.
3 serves 2.
I like that serve. See these Marcos returns with his left just aren't that great a lot of times. Oh, he just loves seeing that ball crack out. Lucky boy there, Abe. See if Marcos can answer.
4 serves 2.
Some love from the handball gods.
Over.
It's a good block. Not unavoidable, but he took the right corner away. Why not?
We're going to 15 in the tiebreaker here. Abraham Montijo, who is a teacher just down the street.
Short.
Yeah, tiebreaker to 15 is a cool idea too. Is this the first tournament?
We've never done it before, and I don't know why we would break it out at a pro stop, but yeah, it has a whole different feel to it. And just from a spectator standpoint, you can just see that there's just sort of a different flow. It's sort of like you have a sense of urgency, but you still have time to kind of play around, and
it's a happy medium.
Yeah, it's right between the two.
That's a sick shot. Good get.
Abraham's really a get artist here in this match.
Marcos's body language has completely shifted.
Side out.
I don't know if this will pump Abe up or intimidate him. You know, his
2 serves 4.
So it's interesting to see where this is headed if Marcos keeps up this body language here. Ideally, you just want to focus on yourself, but it's easy to get distracted by an opponent's just demonstrative, intense body language. And that was a good shot there by Marcos.
Well, you know, he's got that body language thing, but then you saw what he did with that corner kill. Was that a shank? I mean, is that on purpose?
No, I'm pretty sure it's a shank, but...
wow, that's rough there. See Abraham giving him a stare down?
That was a thing of beauty. I thought... Abe thought it skipped for a second, but then he realized he was being silly.
Yeah, that was a great shot from Marcos. I like that over-the-top serve there. Now, we remember in the tournament that you probably won this yellow jersey on. It was right here in Tucson a few years back, and that was one where Marcos took down Luis Moreno in an opening round and then defeated well, he made it against, I think you might have defeated him in that one, but he defeated Luis Moreno in that tournament. And I asked him later, I said, you know, do you like playing him? He said, well, he'll give you back wall setups.
Point.
And I would think that Marcos would come into this match kind of thinking the same way about Abraham.
Serves 4.
Well, I think...
Short.
Yeah. Abe's pretty good about not giving too many back wall setups. He does play... practice with shooters here in Tucson, so probably doesn't get away with it too much.
See, this is where Marcos was scoring points earlier today. if he was able to exclusively keep that ball onto Abraham's left, but Abe took it around the revolving door, and there's a point now. Abraham 6-4.
Yeah, Abe's responded to Marcos's boost in energy with a little boost of his own, which is cool to see. Sometimes one will get thrown off by that.
Second serve.
But he's using it to his advantage. That's not what he intended, I'm sure. That was a bad choice. See what Marcos is going to do. See if he'll go back to that lob.
4 serves 6.
No.
Short. Second serve.
Nice reverse down the left there.
Side out.
A lot of side outs.
Yeah, that's one of those things again where a guy gets a big fat setup and he lets his guard down instead of ending it. Like Marcos knows he makes that 90% of the time, so he just let his mind drift instead of
short,
bearing down and getting it over with.
Second serve.
And it's easy to be critical up here. I mean, I do all the things I'm talking about, mind you. I have no illusions. And that's a show of frustration from Marcos. That's kind of cool to see. A little fire.
Yeah, I was thinking about his body language earlier that he didn't want this.
Short.
But now by seeing that little burst in these last
second serve
couple points, you can see he's emotional.
Oh, yeah.
You don't get that way if you don't care,
he
obviously.
Cares, yeah. He's competitive like we established.
Well, we said earlier, it's part of his act. So sometimes you see him and you can't tell if he's carrying or not carrying. Now he is carrying.
Yeah.
4.
Well, he was walking around like, Linus or something earlier. So that was close. We need a different angle to know for sure if that was avoidable, but he really took
4 serves 7.
Took away that revolving door, backed into it, just as if we wrote it onto the rules.
If he's taken away just the corner, that's okay. But I don't know. Oh well. Abe needed to dive for that, and he knows it. This is all or nothing. These are big points.
7.
It was a missed opportunity, I think.
Point.
So that Marco's back well.
Is that timeout, Ed? First timeout.
Marco's
6-7.
still not satisfied with that, which is going to be good. We got a timeout.
Well, that's a good sign, actually. You sometimes wonder, as a viewer, you're back home and you see someone yelling at themselves when they're up by 9 or 10 points.
You're like, dang, their standards are high.
Yeah, I mean, I would just be happy to, go on a 3-point run, but
that's the way it is, though. Like, I know when I'm playing real well, which doesn't happen often, but when I do and I'm way up and I screw up, I get just as angry as I would if I was way down. So that's a pretty good mind state, I think.
Well, being intense is never a bad thing when you're in sports. Sometimes being too intense, yes, but that's not what we're talking about. Also,
Marcos is pacing.
There's times that I've played before where you might have a nice little comfortable lead, but you also realize that you have, and I'm talking about myself, you have a problem of keeping intensity.
Yeah.
You say, I do well, but I've self-diagnosed myself. When I get up about 18, I just kind of let up because I don't want to put it away. So I need to stay mad, and this the only way to do it is to yell at myself.
Yeah. Well, this guy Rodney that lives here, the he has a Super Bowl ring. He says, when you got somebody down, you got to learn to stomp them in their face and just,
So he played in the NFL then?
Yeah,
okay,
he was
so
a little more graphic.
I think
he was like, Sean, when you get a guy down, you just stomp on his face and twist your foot and blah, 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 blah. It's like, you got a point there. It's easier said than done, though. Much easier to play from behind for whatever reason. for some people.
You said he was from Florida, football, stomping somebody. Are you talking about Ray Lewis? Or oh, you mean Ron Gardia? Okay, Super Bowl Miami Dolphins ring holder from the 70s.
Yeah, he's a cool cat.
Yeah, I love him. And Marcos all of a sudden is picked up his intensity and now at 7-7 here.
This is like you gotta favor Marcos down the stretch here just because he's been there and he's just like, I don't know. He just kind of gets it together towards the end of games when he needs to be clutch. Still want to see some 14-14, 15-14.
I'll take some of that.
15,
Yeah, no,
I'd take that.
You still want to go there then?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh gosh, that'd be great.
Well, I know how you were talking about, you know, staying neutral and all that stuff. But what happens when we get tied at 7 and a tiebreaker going to 15? How neutral is it then?
I'm just rooting for the ref to not screw up. That's all I care about in a match like this.
7 serves 7.
I hope the ref doesn't decide the game.
Well, I think you just decided that that's going to happen with your announcer's curse.
Well,
side out.
Okay, these are. Oof, this
7
is good.
serves 7.
7-7.
Short.
It's a weak effort. He kind of eased up down the right there. He needs to bear down, push through it, like he teaches the
second serve.
The children. Nice shot by Marcos. Get out of trouble shot there.
Point.
Earned him a setup, but unfortunately it didn't work out.
8 serves 7.
Nice shot
That's
there.
a cool shot.
That is a really good shot.
Yeah, I was gonna say something about him not cutting that off, but if you can do that, I guess that's
9 serves 7. Side out.
Marcos got a hold of that return and not in a good way. Abe couldn't capitalize.
7 serves
I love
9.
that serve down left though that Abe's doing.
Just over the line.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting setups all the time with it.
Wow,
That
really?
was sick.
What is that?
Abe was dumbfounded. He probably could have got that, but he was like, what the heck?
9.
But Marcos hit it with authority. Like, you know, I'm intending to do this here. Not just I'm going to flip it up there.
Oh, he intended it.
I saw
sure.
that, but I did not think it was going to make it. Let's see.
Where's that?
I say it was not going to make it. What do you think?
Just got word that Mondo Ortiz and Vic
You agree
Perez
that it was not?
got into a fist fight in the backcourt. Okay, I made that part up. It's actually going into a tiebreaker.
There's an impending
On the
fist
end.
fight. It's coming.
Well, Marcus, did you think it was going to make it without the bad bounce?
Don't ask Marcos. He will not.
All right, that makes the score 9 serving 9.
Gave it to Marcos. Marcos did not want to answer that either. He said
No.
that guy saw it. And there, the handball gods answered it, I think.
Yeah.
And there's a side out. All together at 9. We were tied at 7 as well. And
This
9 serving 9.
Go ahead, Sean.
Point.
No, nothing. That was just a good serve.
10 serves
We'll stay
9.
in the present here.
Do you think this late tiebreaker type game benefits Abraham more than Marcos?
No, I don't. I think it benefits Marcos.
11 serving 9.
Just because game tight situations, Marcos has just been there, but
Timeout. The score's 12-9.
Abe's proved me wrong, which is fine. Those were 2 good serves in a row.
So you do what I do then when you are rooting for the both players. Actually, you don't really want it to happen. You don't want it to end. So then whenever one gets in a lead, you root for the other guy, and it's kind of like self-punishment or something.
Maybe.
We're going to 15, and Abraham's up 12-9. Marcos is going to have to outscore Abraham 6-3, which, you know, it can happen, but in the state that it is right now, you might not see. it happened, you know.
I don't know. I still think Marcos is going to tighten it up here just from what I saw at the U.S. Open. It was so recent. I mean, he played so good at the right time. So I don't know. I think we got a lot of game left.
So both of the 4 p.m. matches, the Mondo Ortiz, Vic Perez, and Abraham Montijo, Marco Chavez, are going tiebreaker.
Resuming play.
So on both of the show courts, and fans on both sides of the club here watching some amazing first round of 16 action at the Race for 8 in Tucson.
Nice skip.
Actually, Marcos put that in a pretty good spot too. Oh. Marcos read the crack off the side wall, goes with an underhand paddle, and then dips it before the front wall, and there's a point for Abraham.
13 serves 9.
I just don't see how Marcos can come back from this. I know that you're talking about him playing good at the U.S. Open, but Abraham just seems like he has all the momentum here.
Yeah, he's playing intense. He's got some fire right now. It's going to be considerably more difficult now that he has 14 for Marcos to come back.
It's going to be difficult. Abraham's 1 point away from going to the quarterfinals for the second time on the Race for 8. Last time was in Denver, Colorado, when he defeated Luis Cordova. You might recall that, Sean.
I don't remember much.
I think that's why I brought it up. For Abraham, if he does win, he gets to play
Possible match points.
hometown hero Luis Moreno tomorrow. That was short.
That looked good to me, Dave. Am I tripping?
Well, no, you're probably not. It's going to be appealed, I should say.
Yeah.
I might not be right that it's short, but it definitely should be appealed. And there is Abraham appealing.
You thought it was short. You thought it was short. All right, I'm going to call it a short serve.
Oof.
Yeah, good eye, Dave. I didn't see that.
So the referee allowed it to play, and then a line judge. It's close.
And we're missing the last rally. Oh, there it is. Oh.
I think Abe overjumped that ball. Might have just slightly got over the top of it, and there's a side out. Marcos back in.
All of a sudden, the players are going to the floor. I like it.
Marcos not only needs to, win by 2, but he really has to go after about 4 points here. 5 points, because he has to try to force overtime at the very minimum, because Abe's going to score just 1 to win. So Marcos has to do a lot of scoring in a row, either that or get a lot of side outs, and that's kind of risky. Have to have more of the mentality, I'm going to serve and shoot here.
This last point is always the toughest, though. If you're
9
Abe.
serves 14.
Marco Chavez ended my pro career. I should have actually made sure that was the last time I ever played in Denver when I defeated him in that quarterfinal match.
That's a good win.
Terrible back wall left inside out shot there from Chavez, and another chance here for Abraham.
Okay. 30-second timeout, Abe. Scores 14-9.
Abraham acting like a true veteran with his timeout calls. Going for a 30-second when he still has a couple 60s out there. Acting like he's been around this 30-second for quite some time.
Yeah, that's kind of a good use for it. I haven't really thought about how I'm going to use those timeouts, but I suppose if you're serving at 14, all you need is 30 seconds.
Alrighty. Time.
It's best 2 out of 3 to 15, and you have to win by 2, and it's traditional scoring here.
Resuming play. The score is 14 serves 9.
Two bounces there. I thought.
No.
Nope. Sorry. Probably one of the most intense rallies, and there it is. Abraham goes to the quarterfinals, and there's a little bit of emotion there from Abraham Montijo taking down Marcos Chavez in Tucson, Arizona. And this is the big win for him. Sean, you remember when you took down Nadi Alvarado in Minnesota at the Nationals, and there was sort of like this emotion that you had. You know, you defeated him in 2007 in Minnesota, and you saw that. Abraham, you know, other players do that too. When they beat somebody that they've looked up to or somebody that they had on their radar for a long time, this meant a lot to Abraham. You can tell by his emotions here.
God, it's probably the biggest win in the professional field he's had.
You know, I don't want to make this about me, but
let's do it.
I played Marcos in Denver, and when I defeated him, it was really the greatest win I've ever had in a handball tournament. But later that night, we were also rooming together. We played cards until 2 in the morning. You know, it's one of those things where I don't think the player that you defeat even knows for a second how much you look up to him. You know, I guess as guys, we don't want to give that away sometimes.
Well, I tell Marcos every time I see him how much he
well,
means to me.
You're different than me. We're going to take a break. It was Abraham Montijo taking down Marcos Chavez in a very strange line score. Abraham scores 15 all 3 games, going to 15, and he had to go to a tiebreaker.
Is that a fact? That's cool.
Yeah, it is, and because he lost the first one 15-17, and then wins 15-12, and then loses, and then wins 15-9. He scored 15 all 3 games.
Boom.
And had to go to a breaker. We are going to take a break. Speaking of breakers, it looks like they're putting on Steve Cooney from Ireland, and he is going to go up against the giant killer, TGK. Anthony Celesta. We'll have that match next. Stick around. More handball action in just a bit. Racefor8.com, courtesy of Abraham.
The Tucson Racquet Club is your home away from home. Join us for world-class tennis, handball, racquetball, and the new rage, pickleball. Or try one of our 160 weekly group exercise classes. Want to swim laps or play with your family in the pool? Enjoy our 2 junior Olympic-sized pools and wading pool that are open year-round. Then round out the perfect day with a delicious meal at our restaurant or sports bar. All at the Tucson Racquet and Fitness Club, where Country Club Road ends and fitness begins.